Happy Generational Wealth Wednesday. It's your guy Jimmy from MyAdvisorJimmyHoward.com. Thank you guys for tuning in. Also want to say Happy Black History Month. And also remember that history has not only been made, but history is also in the making. That's right. Speaking of history, I want to talk to you guys today about the five capitals. Now, when I say the five capitals, I know there's been so much in the news in the last couple of weeks about all the events taking place in our nation's capital, as well as the Capitol building in D.C. But we're talking about your capital today. Before I get into the five capitals, I want to share a brief bit of Georgia history with you guys. Now, when I was in school, when it came to concepts that I had to memorize or learn, I always used acronyms. So today I'm going to share an acronym with you to teach you a part of history that some of you may know, some of you may not know, but it's Georgia history. So I use the acronym SALMA, and it sounds similar to Selma, Alabama, but this is dealing with Georgia. So SALMA represents the five capitals here in the state of Georgia. So prior to Atlanta becoming the capital of Georgia, there were four other capitals. And those capital cities, in chronological order: Savannah, Augusta, Louisville, Milledgeville, Atlanta. So if you didn't know, now you know. But I just put that up there for you guys to have. So that's not today's focus. Today we're going to focus on the five capitals. And I drew someone that you may be familiar with. His name is Patrick Star. That's right. If you guys grew up on SpongeBob, watching SpongeBob, don't leave me by myself. I know I'm not the only one. SpongeBob was the main character, but Patrick was the real star, literally. Patrick Star was his name, Patrick Star, and he's a starfish. So what does this have to do with today's conversation? So the five capitals. Often you're led to believe and focus on one of the aspects of the five capitals, but you want to make sure all the pieces are in place in order to shine. So the first one, I want you to remember the acronym FISHES. Now I know that's not quite correct, but bear with me for the sake of today's discussion. So remember the acronym STARFISHES, Patrick STARFISHES. F stands for financial. And this is the most common. This is the one that most of us are familiar with. It has to do with money, dollars, pounds, gold, etc. That's your financial capital. Next, we have intellectual capital. Intellectual capital deals with your creative assets. The intangible creative assets that you possess. So your ideas, your knowledge, those are the things that constitute intellectual capital. Social capital. Social capital has to do with the relationship that you have with the people within your community or even in your workspace. Like one of the values associated with social capital, for example, is trust. Or do people trust you? Are you trustworthy? And over time, social capital is something that has decreased a lot because when you think about, back in the day, a lot of families, especially in the Black community, there was so much trust amongst the people in that community. Some people would go to bed at night and leave their doors unlocked. But now, how often do you see that take place today? Not very often, right? In fact, I had a chance to watch One Night in Miami, and there was a scene in there between Sam Cooke and Malcolm X. Malcolm X was going outside. He had left his camera. He had a brand new camera, spent a lot of money on a pretty expensive camera. He left it in his car outside. And he was on his way outside to get the camera, and they were located in a hotel. And I think the hotel was in a Black neighborhood. They never articulated, but it was something that I guess you had to just understand. But anyhow, so Malcolm was on his way to the car to get his camera out the car, and Sam Cooke from the balcony said, "What's wrong, brother? Aren't we safe amongst each other in the Black community?" So he was joking because, of course, that's what Brother Malcolm was all about. Talking about a brotherhood and a black community. But I found that funny. If it was based on true events, I found that funny. But anyhow, that's social capital, human capital. These are the things that really make you unique. What makes you you? As the saying goes, make sure you do you, because if you don't do you, you won't get done. Human capital deals with things such as your ideas, your skill sets, your education, your ability to dance or play sports. That's human capital. And lastly, spiritual capital. Spiritual capital is omitted. And this has to do with the divine. It's often said that we're human beings having a spiritual experience, but we're actually spiritual beings having a human experience. So the divine aspect to your nature is important. So spiritual capital deals with your innate relationship with God, your creator. So all of these aspects of capital are important. So when I talk about Generational Wealth Wednesday, one week you may see me discuss a book. One week you may see me discuss a movie. One day we may talk about financial products and services. One week we may talk about something spiritual. And I do that because I believe in the holistic aspects of wealth. I don't want you guys to just be all about money. Don't get me wrong. Money is important, but so are these other areas. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's discussion with my guy, Mr. Patrick Starfish, and to leave you with the words of the wise women of Players Club movie: make that money, don't let that money make you. Peace.